Hello students, today we will do the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. Now this is the third portion of our topic number 10. We started with the torque acting on a rectangular loop which was carrying a current and it was placed in a magnetic field. And we came to the conclusion that its behavior was similar to the electric dipole. So we derived the formula for the torque acting on it in the terms of a magnetic dipole moment. Then in the next topic we have studied that the circular loop behave like a magnetic moment. So if a circular loop carry a current, it also behave like a dipole, and we found that the magnetic field intensity at its axial in the equatorial point resemble that of a electric dipole, and we change the symbol. In the place of electric dipole we have a magnetic dipole moment. Also we know that a circular coil carrying current can behave like a bar magnet, which we will continue in the next lecture. Now we have the last portion of this, that is a magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. Now in chapter atoms we have studied about the Bohr theory, and Bohr gave a hypothesis. So let us start with an hydrogen atom in which an electron is revolving around a nucleus. So let us assume that an electron is revolving in a circular orbit, and the direction of the electron is it is an anti-clockwise. Let r be the orbital radius, and we assume that there is a nucleus which is positively charged. So this is our assumption that an electron is revolving in circular orbit having orbital radius denoted by small r, and we assume that the electron is revolving around a nucleus which is positively charged. Let us name or call this nucleus Ze, where Z is the atomic number. So we assume the nucleus is concentrated at its center and the electron is revolving. Let V be the orbital speed. So we assume the orbital speed of an electron is V, which we know is along the tangent. So it is similar to a planet revolving around the sun. So when we consider that planets are revolving around the earth, planets are revolving around the sun, we have a gravitational force of attraction between the sun and all planets. Similarly, there is an electrostatic force of attraction between positively charged nucleus and an electron revolving around it. So V is the orbital speed, and if we take a direction, then it is along the tangent. So we call it a orbital velocity. So the speed we assume remains constant. It is a uniform circular motion, we assume it. Now if the electron is moving in an anti-clockwise direction, the motion of an electron constitute an current. So this motion of an electron produce the current, and the direction of electronic current is opposite to the conventional current. So let I be the conventional current. So if electron is anti-clockwise, the current is assumed to be flowing, or current is in clockwise direction. Now let us apply the formula for a current. So current is equal to Q by T. In the place of Q we write Ne by T. We have taken one electron, so the formula becomes E upon capital T, where capital T here, T is called the period of revolution or time period of an electron, and we know that time period is defined as the time taken by an electron or body for complete revolution. So we assume that electron make one complete revolution, so the current here will be I is equal to E by T. So we are discussing this magnetic dipole moment at an atomic level. We have taken an atom where the nucleus is positively charged and an electron is revolving around it. Now where T is the periodic time or a time period of an electron, that is time taken by electron to complete one revolution. Also, time period is equal to the displacement upon the speed or displacement upon the velocity. So when the electron make one revolution, the distance is 2 pi r. So the distance covered is equal to the circumference, and the speed is denoted by v, that is the orbital speed. Therefore, I is equal to EV upon 2 pi r. So this is our equation number 2. Now we know that the magnetic moment is given by the formula I into A. The magnetic moment is given by the formula I into A. Now we have generally denoted the dipole moment by the symbol small m. Here when an electron or at atomic level the magnetic moment is generally denoted by mu, and we keep a subscript small l. We will discuss about the small l while the subscript is a small l. So the magnetic moment at atomic level is called the atomic dipole moment. So we call it a atomic dipole moment because we are considering an atom. So same dipole moment is sometimes referred as the atomic magnetic moment. So atomic magnetic moment mu L is equal to I into A. This is equal to I into pi r square, that is the area of this circular orbit or a circular path, that is the area pi r square. We substitute this value. So mu L is equal to, in the place of I we write EV upon 2 pi r into pi r square. So this pi is cancelled, one r is also cancelled. So magnetic moment is equal to half EVR. So we can remember this formula like half hour. Half hour. So this is the magnetic moment. So what was our topic? That was a magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. So if an electron is revolving, we have taken electron as 1. So if an electron is revolving in a circular orbit around the positively charged heavy nucleus, then whatever is the nucleus, you put the atomic number here Z, then its magnetic moment, which we call atomic magnetic moment. So whenever we talk about an atom, we call the magnetic dipole moment as an atomic magnetic moment denoted by mu L. So mu L is equal to half hour. This is one concept. Now we have to find out its direction. Now we know that when we applied this formula m vector is equal to I into A vector, how the magnetic moment was determined? With the help of a right hand screw rule. We curve our finger in the direction of the current. We curl our fingers in the direction of the current and thumb give you the direction of a dipole moment. So here the current is clockwise. Here the current is clockwise. So I curl my finger in clockwise direction. So this is, my fingers are curled in clockwise. So my thumb is inward. So what will be the direction of mu L? So it is going into the plane of paper. So we represent this by a cross which indicate that mu L is going into the plane of paper. Here mu L is directed into the plane of paper, and that is using the right hand screw rule. So here the topic, one portion of the topic is completed. So if we have to derive a formula for the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron, we wind up here. Now let us see another concept, because when we talk about a Bohr atomic model, then we have the Bohr hypothesis. What was the Bohr hypothesis? So Bohr hypothesis was that the angular momentum also assume discrete sets of value. So like we have a quantization of electric charge, here we have a quantization of angular momentum. So the angular momentum of an electron in the orbit assume a discrete sets of value. So the angular momentum will not take any random value. It should have a specific value, just similar to the quantization of electric charge. So we move on to that angular momentum. Now we know that angular momentum, let us denote the angular momentum by small l. So small l is an angular momentum of an electron. If we have an angular momentum of the system, we denote it by capital L. So we know this formula, that is L vector is equal to R cross P. P is a linear momentum, so this is R cross M into V. Here the velocity is along the tangent. The velocity is along the tangent. And this is R vector. So if I extend my R vector, this is R vector is extended, then the angle between the V vector and R vector becomes 90 degree. So the magnitude of L becomes RmV, and if it is an electron, we write mass of an electron, that is me. So if we see this formula, we already have a term Vr here. If I multiply and divide it by me, that is the mass of electron, then I can find out the relation between the angular momentum and the magnetic moment. Before that, let us apply the right hand screw rule and find out the direction of the angular momentum. So what is angular momentum? R cross V vector. So we keep a screw. Now how we have to rotate the screw? You have to rotate a screw in such a way that R vector fall on a V vector. Or I can also take a thumb rule. So R should fall on V. R should fall on V. My thumb is outward. So angular momentum is coming out from the plane of paper. Magnetic moment was going into the plane of paper. Or if I rotate the screw, then the screw should be rotated anti-clockwise, because R has to fall on V. So the screw will come out. That is coming out from the plane of paper. So what is the direction of the magnetic moment? Angular momentum, that is coming out from the plane of paper. That is radially outward. Now let us multiply and divide this equation by me. So multiplying and dividing equation 3 by me, that is a mass of electron. That is a mass of electron. That is mu L is equal to half E me VR upon me. Now me VR, that is angular momentum, magnitude, that is angular momentum. Therefore mu L is equal to half E, in the place of this I write L divided by ME. So this is the formula in the terms of the angular momentum. This is a magnitude, but in a vector notation, so in vector form, mu L vector is equal to minus half E L vector upon ME vector. Why this negative sign? Here the negative sign indicate that the magnetic moment or atomic magnetic moment and angular momentum are in opposite direction. So here negative sign indicates mu L vector and L vector are in opposite direction. L vector is coming out from plane of paper. L vector is coming out from the plane of paper. So this is the formula of atomic dipole moment in the form of angular momentum. So we have two formula for atomic magnetic moment. One is in the form of EVR and other is in the form of angular momentum. Now in this theory we have taken the motion of an electron was revolving. So instead of an electron, if we consider positive charge, so if I consider a positive charge, direction of mu L vector and L vector would be same. So in our diagram, electron was anti-clockwise and current was clockwise. So if I take a motion of a positive charge, then that direction would be same. Now in this situation also mu L upon L, this is mu L upon L, can be written as a ratio that is half E upon ME. So this is the ratio of the atomic magnetic moment or the magnetic dipole moment and the angular momentum, and this ratio is called the gyromagnetic ratio. This ratio is called gyromagnetic ratio. Also we can find out this ratio for an electron, but in that case we have to remember the direction, otherwise the magnitude comes out to be same. Now we know this values of a charge on electron and the charge on mass on electron. So if it is for an electron, I can substitute this value, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 divided by mass of electron, that is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. So substituting all these values, we find that this value comes out to be about 8.8 into 10 raised to 10 coulomb per kg. So that is an SI unit. Clearly it should be coulomb per kg. So this is the gyromagnetic ratio. Either you say for an electron, we have calculated this for electron. If we have a proton or positive charge, you take that positive charge, but we have considered the motion of a magnetic moment of a revolving electron. So this is gyromagnetic ratio for an electron revolving around a nucleus. Now let us move to the another concept, that is the Bohr hypothesis. Now what was the Bohr hypothesis? Now according to him, see, all this theory deal at atomic level. So Ampere was able to prove that even at atomic level there is a magnetic moment. Even at atomic level there is a magnetic moment. Now we know that some material are a magnet, some cannot behave like a magnet. So we have a category of ferromagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance or diamagnetic substance. Now how this classification is done? So at atomic level we can find out which atom have a magnetic moment. So the magnetic property of a material, the magnetic property of any material can be found with the help of this theory, that is atomic dipole moment. So Ampere successfully explained the atomic magnetic dipole moment, and based on that theory we can classify the material into di, para and ferromagnetism, which material shows a magnetism property. So that we will deal in the coming chapter. Now let us come to Bohr hypothesis. What was Bohr hypothesis? So according to him, when electrons are revolving in an orbit, they assume the angular momentum assume the discrete sets of value. So according to Bohr hypothesis, angular momentum assume discrete set of values. So angular momentum assume discrete sets of value, and that was a Bohr hypothesis, or you can say it is a Bohr quantization condition. So like we have a quantization of charge, here we have a quantization of angular momentum. Now according to Bohr, L is equal to nh by 2 pi, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3. So this is the angular momentum any electron will assume depending in which orbit it is revolving. So and h we know is a Planck's constant. So h is known as a Planck's constant. Here L is the angular momentum, and the Planck's constant was given by 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. So this is your Planck's constant. Now the next question is, can this atomic magnetic moment, only mu L, can assume some minimum value? So clearly, first I substitute this L is equal to nh upon 2 pi in this equation. So mu L becomes, if we use a Bohr hypothesis, then the atomic dipole moment, so at atomic level the atomic dipole moment becomes half E upon me. In the place of L I write nh upon 2 pi. Therefore this becomes E and h upon 4 pi into me. This is the situation at an atomic level. Now can this magnetic dipole moment or atomic magnetic dipole moment, so at atomic level we call it a atomic dipole moment, assume a minimum value? So if n is taken as 1, then the minimum value will be written as mu L minimum, that is equal to, we take n equal to 1, so it becomes E h upon 4 pi me, that is equal to, now we know all values, E we know, h we know, me we know. So substituting this value, h 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by 4 into 3.14 into the mass of the electron. So if I substitute all this value and you just do the calculation, we find that this value comes out to be 9.27 into 10 raised to minus 4 ampere meter square. You remember the unit of this magnetic moment by the formula I into A. So this is the minimum value of the dipole moment when an electron is revolving, and this minimum value is being referred as Bohr magneton. We call it the Bohr magneton. So this is the value. So what is Bohr magneton? The minimum value of atomic dipole moment, and the minimum value can be found for a hydrogen atom. So here we have taken an electron. So Bohr theory or Bohr hypothesis theory generally deal with a hydrogen atom. Otherwise there are limitations for it. So we use the Bohr hypothesis with the Ampere's concept. So Ampere was the first person who derived this relation to give us the atomic magnetic moment. And according to Ampere, all the atoms possess the magnetic moment, and depending upon this magnetic moment values, the materials can be classified into di, para or ferro. So this is an important concept to understand the magnetic behavior of any substance. So when we will deal with the magnetic behavior of a substance, we know some substance behave well in the presence of the magnetic field, and some will not behave. It will oppose the magnetic field. So the atoms, like polarization, the atoms will also align when they are subjected to the magnetic moment, because we know that now whenever we are dealing with magnetic dipole moment, it means you are dealing with a dipole, magnetic dipole. So when we keep an electric dipole in electric field, there is a torque. So similarly, in the coming chapter, we will put a substance or a material in a magnetic field, and at atomic level, if these atoms get aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, they will become a good magnet. Otherwise, some substance will not behave like a magnet. Even in the presence of magnetic field, these atoms will not be able to align, or in fact they may get aligned opposite to the applied magnetic field. So they may give rise to, or such material will be called as diamagnetic substance. So when we do the classification of the substance, we need this theory. So Ampere only proved this theory, and later on that Ampere theory, which played an important role for the magnetic property of a substance, and then that property or that theory was connected with the Bohr hypothesis, because according to Bohr, the angular momentum should assume a discrete sets of value, and if they assume the discrete sets of value, then there should always be a minimum value of a atomic dipole moment. So this is all about we have a magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. On the other hand, we have a spin magnetic moment also. So this is the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. At the same time, we will also have a spin magnetic moment. So elementary particles like electron also possess a spin magnetic moment. Though you have to remember that the electron does not have an axis to spin like our Earth. So Earth is revolving around the sun, as well as it is rotating about its own axis. It is spinning. Electrons have a spin magnetic moment, but it does not have an axis like a Earth to spin around. So we will also have a concept of a spin magnetic moment, and what we have studied, this is sometimes referred as orbital magnetic moment, or at atomic level we sometimes call it atomic magnetic moment. So we have two terminology. So when we call orbital magnetic moment, we deal with a revolving electron, and remember, an electron also possesses spin magnetic moment due to its spin. but it does not have an axis to spin around as we have for a Earth. So this is all about we have for today, that is a magnetic dipole moment of a electron or a orbital magnetic moment. Have a nice day.